Tonight, waiting for Wisconsin. Barack Obama looks to make it 9 in a row. Can Hillary Clinton stop him cold? But Michelle Obama draws fire over a controversial remark.
For the first time in my adult lifetime, I'm really proud of my country.
I'm Harry Smith. Also tonight,
Viva la revolución!
End of an era. After half a century in power and 10 American presidencies, Cuba's Fidel Castro is stepping down. And he's been taking 35 pain pills a day, but maybe no longer. He's trying a promising new treatment for chronic pain.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening. Katie is off tonight. It is a critical night in the battle for the Democratic presidential nomination between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. There are 94 delegates at stake in Wisconsin and Hawaii, while Washington state is holding what amounts to a beauty contest. Our latest CBS News count tonight shows Clinton trailing Obama by 74 delegates nationally. In Wisconsin today, more than half the voters we polled told us what they want most from a candidate is change. In fact, change beat experience 2-1. We begin our coverage with Jim Axelrod, who's in the next battleground state, Texas. Jim, good evening.
Well, Harry, right now, Barack Obama is riding a surge of momentum that the Clinton campaign would do anything to stop. Now, maybe that will happen today in the Wisconsin primary. Or maybe Barack Obama and his wife, Michelle, will slow the surge of momentum themselves. Surfacing today, another instance of Barack Obama using the same words his friend, Massachusetts Governor Deval Patrick, used first. Here's Patrick in his campaign, June of 2006.
I am not asking anybody to take a chance on me. I'm asking you to take a chance on your own aspirations.
17 months later, this is Obama.
I'm not just asking you to take a chance on me. I'm also asking you to take a chance on your own aspirations.
It's the second time in 2 days an instance of Obama using his friend's words has come to light. Yesterday, Obama said Patrick encouraged him to use his lines, but Obama said he should have credited him. The Clinton camp cried plagiarism. But it's Michelle Obama's words that may give her husband's opponents an even sharper line of attack.
Let me tell you something. For the first time in my adult lifetime, I'm really proud of my country.
That was her yesterday. Less than 24 hours later, John McCain's wife jumped in.
I'm proud of my country. I don't know about you if you heard those words earlier. I'm very proud of my country.
How's it going, San Antonio?
On the stump in Texas today, Obama dialed back the rhetoric and stepped up the policy, talking about the housing crisis.
I have called for the immediate creation of a $10 billion foreclosure prevention fund.
You're often overworked, underpaid, and sometimes overlooked, but not by everyone.
While Clinton unveiled a new ad targeting working-class voters. That's been a reliable block for her, and she needs them more than ever after Obama cut into other Democrats, women and Latinos, in primaries last week who've been strong for Clinton. That's why today's primary in Wisconsin is important.
And Obama, in particular, I think, wants to be able to demonstrate that the strength he showed a week ago in places like Virginia and Maryland is true strength. That, in fact, he's making inroads into voters who previously looked like they were Hillary Clinton's base.
Back to Obama's speeches. Aides point out that Obama gave other speeches where he did credit Patrick. Now then, Michelle Obama's words. The campaign says, don't slice apart the quote to infer she's not a patriot. They understand that those words could be a problem down the road, Ohio and Texas 2 weeks from today, and then later on, April 22nd in Pennsylvania. Harry?
Jim Axelrod tonight in Texas. Thanks. Now to the Republicans. They're choosing 56 delegates tonight in Wisconsin and Washington state. Our latest CBS News count shows John McCain needs 376 more to officially clinch the GOP nomination. The senator from Arizona campaigned earlier today in Wisconsin, and then it was on to delegate-rich Ohio. We want to turn now to our political wise men, Chief Washington Correspondent Bob Schieffer and Senior Political Correspondent Jeff Greenfield. Good morning, or good evening, gentlemen, I should say. A little bit of a long day today. First things first, you've been looking at exit poll data from Wisconsin. What are the numbers telling you?
Well, first we asked, if we can look at these numbers, who attacked unfairly? There was a dust-up the last few days, and by a huge margin, some 20 points, 54 to 34, Wisconsin Democrats said Hillary Clinton attacked unfairly more than Obama. Here's a more telling number. We asked who was most qualified to be commander-in-chief. By 50 to 48, they gave it to Clinton. That's almost an even split in a question that Clinton usually dominates in primaries where she does well. By contrast, when we asked who was best able to unite the country, on Obama's strength, he kept it in Wisconsin. 62 to 35% Democrats in Wisconsin said Obama. And last, who was more likely to beat the Republican nominee, the so-called electability question? By a huge margin, 63 to 37%, Democrats said Obama. Harry, if you're looking for encouragement from Hillary Clinton, basically you have to hope these numbers are wrong.
Bob Schieffer, you're sitting in Washington tonight. If you're Hillary Clinton looking at these numbers, what kind of conclusions are you making?
Well, these are the same kind of numbers, Harry, that we saw in Virginia, where Hillary Clinton just got waxed by Barack Obama. So there can't be very much happiness in the Clinton camp tonight. She really is going to have her back to the wall now, unless she does well in Texas and Ohio. I think this thing is about done for her.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Bob. And Jeff, very quickly, the Michelle Obama dust-up, does it have legs? Will it last?
I think it's a bigger problem for Obama in the fall if he's a nominee, but you have to believe the Clinton campaign is trying to find some way to use those words in the working class areas of Ohio, Texas, and Pennsylvania.
Jeff Greenfield, Bob Schieffer, thanks, gentlemen. Now to the other big story of the day. After nearly 50 years in power, Cuba's Fidel Castro is retiring. In a written announcement, Castro, 81 years old, cited his poor health, saying it would be a betrayal of my conscience to accept a responsibility requiring more mobility and dedication than I am physically able to offer. More now from Kelly Kobiea.
The last battle will be fought in the capital.
There was no hours-long fiery speech from Fidel Castro, but the words were just as potent. In a letter on the front page of Cuba's state newspaper, Castro said the job of president required more mobility and dedication than I am physically able to offer. An understated end for a brazen man. He grabbed hold of power in 1959 and didn't let go for nearly 50 years, surviving assassination attempts and defying his big neighbor to the north. Castro outlasted 9 U.S. presidents. The 10th heard of his resignation while in Africa.
So I view this as a period of transition and it should be the beginning of the democratic transition for the people in Cuba.
That was the hope of Cuban Americans in Florida a year and a half ago, when many thought Castro was dying. But today, only a handful had the heart to celebrate. Many more see Fidel's retirement as bittersweet.
In that sense, you know, it's fine. We got rid of Castro, but we really have not gotten rid of the problem.
Viva Fidel! Because the expectation is that Cuba will be replacing one Castro with another. Fidel's younger brother, Raul, who has spent nearly all of his 76 years at his brother's side, as a rebel fighter, as a brutal defense minister purging Fidel's political enemies, and later as a masterful manager and economic reformer.
The Raul Castro of the 80s, 90s, and of today is definitely a pragmatist who sees his legacy and his future dependent upon consolidating the revolution in Fidel's absence and reaching out to the United States.
In the past year and a half since Fidel's illness, Raul Castro has reached out to the U.S. 3 times. Today, more than 100 members of Congress reached back, urging the Bush administration to change Cuban policy. The administration's response: no democracy, no talks.
There still is a substantial degree of total dislike, if you will, for any Castro who may still be running Cuba. But I think as well there will be a certain degree of increased flexibility.
Cuba's National Assembly is expected to officially name Raul Castro president on Sunday. They will also likely pick the first vice president and Raul's likely successor. And Harry, for the first time in nearly 50 years, it will not be another Castro.
Kelly Kobiea in Miami tonight. Thanks. Meanwhile, the Bush administration said today it hopes to work with whatever new government is formed in Pakistan. But now that President Musharraf's party has lost big in parliamentary elections, many wonder if the Pakistanis will still want to help the United States fight the war on terror. Mark Phillips is in Islamabad.
As he voted, Pervez Musharraf said he would live with any result in this election. Now he'll have to. So will the United States. Musharraf's sworn political enemies have demolished his party at the polls and may even force him from office. America's key ally is looking like yesterday's man. This is the man with power in Pakistan today, Benazir Bhutto's widower, Asif Zardari, the prime minister in waiting. Already he's distancing himself from America's war against Islamic militants in his country.
I think the whole war on terror has been defined wrong. It is a war of terror against Pakistan, and we have to fight it as our war.
Which may mean taking fewer orders from Washington. Musharraf's U.S. ties made him hugely unpopular at home. Having a democratically elected ally, say the U.S. senators here for the vote, may be a good thing.
The idea that Musharraf is waging a full-blown billion-dollar campaign against al-Qaeda and Taliban is simply not true. Is simply not true.
But can you count on the next group?
Well, can you count on them to do as well as they've been doing now?
The U.S. may have cooled to Pervez Musharraf even before this election, but whatever his failings as a partner in the fight against terror, at least dealing with one man was simple. Power has now been fragmented here. Dealing with Pakistan is now a lot messier. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Islamabad.
Back here at home, the United States military may attempt to shoot down that disabled spy satellite as soon as tomorrow night. Air traffic controllers are telling pilots to stay away from a restricted zone west of Hawaii at the time the satellite will be passing overhead. The plans call for the Navy to fire a heat-seeking missile with no warhead that would destroy the satellite and the toxic fuel on board by impact alone. And take a look at this, an apparent meteor streaking through the western skies of the United States early this morning. The tape was shot by the Idaho National Guard. A pilot says he saw it hit the earth, but that has not been confirmed. Quite a sight. There's much more CBS News ahead. Did your DVD player just become obsolete? We'll have the winners and losers in the high-def battle. But up next, new hope for millions of pain sufferers, a treatment that is truly shocking. Millions of us have it, and many of us don't know what to do about it. Chronic pain. 1 in 4 adults, about 56 million, said they suffered from it in the past month, and 1 in 10 said they've had pain that lasted more than a year. But new breakthroughs are offering new hope, as Dr. John LaPook reports in our special series, Easing the Pain.
When Detective Thomas Tobin was busting bad guys for the New York City police, he never imagined that his toughest adversary would turn out to be pain.
What I usually have constantly is a dull, aching, crushing pain, like deep in my bones, as if my shin is in a vice or if someone's standing on my foot.
It all started 10 years ago after an operation for a knee injury.
It was life-changing. I went from working constantly to not working at all.
For years, his only relief, a cocktail of prescribed medications.
How many pills? I take about 35 pills a day.
Every day?
Every day.
Now he's trying something that might seem shocking. An electrical current applied to his head, part of a clinical trial at Beth Israel Medical Center in New York. It's called TDCS, transcranial direct current stimulation. A small electrical current seems to work by affecting pain centers deep within the brain, somehow muffling the perception of pain. The main side effect so far? Slight scalp irritation. Thomas doesn't feel a shock, just a tingling sensation.
And in some way that nobody understands and still seems rather magical, pain might be reduced.
The idea dates back 2,000 years when a Roman physician found he could relieve gout and headache by placing an electric fish on the scalp. Since then, the technique has been refined.
It's very early, and we don't know how effective it will be. We think it will be very safe.
30 years ago, electrodes were surgically implanted deep within the brain. Years later, on the surface. This new approach places them right on the scalp.
To start, okay?
This kind of surface stimulation has shown promise in small studies of patients with fibromyalgia and spinal cord injury.
The idea is that when you get the treatment, if it's successful and the pain gets better, then you start cutting down the medication and see how low you can go.
Every few months, Thomas gets treatments 20 minutes a day for 5 days. He says his pain drops significantly after therapy and then slowly returns over time.
I'm in a lot less pain today, and now it just feels as though I'm, have a sunburn that's a few days old.
This therapy is being tested at several centers around the world, and more study is needed. But this new variation on an ancient concept is promising, using electricity to try to zap the perception of pain. Harry?
And do you think it's generalizable? Could it be used on other kinds of pain?
That's the hope, whatever the cause, to somehow dial down the volume on the brain's pain center. But it's not going to be the whole answer. With chronic pain, you've got to throw the kitchen sink at it. That means integrative medicine, mind-body techniques, acupuncture massage, medication in as low dose as possible. And then, on top of that, if you can have a gizmo that can actually blunt and muffle the brain's perception of pain, as my dad would say, now you're cooking with grease.
Yeah, that was really good stuff. Thanks very much. Tomorrow night, painkillers that cannot be abused. Another new treatment for easing the pain as our series continues. And when we come back, we have a winner in the DVD wars. So what does that mean for movie night at your house? We'll try to explain. Like to watch movies at home? Well, Blu-ray has won the DVD format war. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, here's Daniel Seberg.
After 2 years of trading punches with the competition, Toshiba is bowing out of a cutting-edge battle for your entertainment dollars. Which technology to use for high-definition DVDs?
So if this has been kind of a heavyweight bout, what is it now?
It's a bit of a knockout.
Lance Ulanoff, editor-in-chief of PC Magazine, says the 1.5 million people who bet on Toshiba's losing format are stuck, just like the people who bought Betamax players over VHS in the 80s.
And they knew what the risks were going in. No one has said over the course of the last 2 years that there was any clear winner.
Toshiba says it will still support its HD DVD players, but end production in March. That leaves Sony's Blu-ray player as the clear victor.
I'm going to get you out of this.
Movie studios initially split their support between the two formats, but Warner Brothers recently announced it would go with Blu-ray, as did Walmart, the nation's biggest retailer.
Consumers don't thrive on confusion. They need clarity.
Both HD DVD and Blu-ray offer the same in terms of picture quality, but their formats aren't compatible with each other, so I can't play this movie in this player. And at about $300 to $400 each, consumers had to make a costly choice.
I bought the HD, my roommate bought the Blu-ray, so we figure one of them's going to win.
35 million Americans now own a high-definition TV, increasing demand for content.
We just recently bought a flat screen, so now it's all of a sudden we're joining the war, so to speak.
And since most Blu-ray players still play your old DVDs, the picture just got a whole lot clearer. Daniel Seberg, CBS News, New York.
Now to the CBS News Money Watch. The price of oil shot up today on concerns OPEC will not boost production. Crude closed above $100 a barrel for the first time ever, and gasoline is back over $3 a gallon for the first time in a month. When we come back, after the deadly Christmas Day attack, the Tigers of San Francisco move into their new home. It's been nearly 2 months since a Siberian tiger killed a teenager and mauled his 2 friends at the San Francisco Zoo. Now the zoo's lions and tigers have moved into a new habitat with some dramatic new safety features. Here's Bill Whitaker.
The big cats at the San Francisco Zoo have been away from public view since that fatal Christmas Day attack. This week, the lions and tigers, but still not the public, were allowed back to look around and sniff around their new, improved, and much more secure home.
They notice that things are different. There's different stuff out there, so we're giving them a few days to get used to it.
The need for the new enclosure became shockingly clear after the tiger named Tatiana jumped the old 33-foot moat and 13-foot wall, killed 1 visitor, mauled 2 others before being shot dead by police. While the old wall was 4 feet below international zoo standards, The new,
it probably exceeds what other zoos have done.
with built-up barriers of concrete and glass, the new 19-foot wall is almost 3 feet taller than the norm. A hot wire surrounds the pen, coursing 8,000 volts of electricity.
Very strong. I don't believe that anything would be able to get out of these enclosures.
The survivors of the attack deny they taunted the tiger. Still, Dave Weissman, who runs a foundation that rescues abandoned wild animals, says more than the new wall, the best protection, obey the new signs.
I wouldn't want to taunt a tiger like that.
Even with a 20-foot wall?
Even with a 30-foot wall.
The tigers and lions seem at ease in their new home. The real test will come maybe later this week when people are allowed back. Bill Whitaker, CBS News, Los Angeles.
That's the CBS Evening News. Katie will be back tomorrow. I'm Harry Smith. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you in the morning on The Early Show. Good night.